What if I told you that all pros have this little move in their pre-shot routine that adds about 20 yards to their drive if they do it well, so they can launch it and really send it, downwind or not? All right, so let's talk about this little move. And this little move really isn't taught a whole lot because I believe it's just assumed that it happens when other things are done. But that is not always the case because I've seen this on my students so many times. So let's talk about what that little move is, how you can get it into your swing, and then ultimately see what it's going to do for you and what other people are doing and the mistakes that I'm seeing over and over in my students. So let's jump into it. All right, so this, as we said, is a driver tip, very, very specifically to the driver. So I don't want you to assume this is correct for the irons. We're talking about this guy today. So this is a super common problem because so many times when I see my students, they say, I just can't hit my driver. I can hit my irons well, but my driver just won't work for me right now. And if one works, the other one doesn't. So it's very, very common. And what I then see usually is this or this. Can you pick up on what I'm doing here and what is wrong here? So what's essentially wrong here is people have done a lot of the correct things. They've moved their ball position up. They have kind of, tried to get that where it needs to be. It's kind of the obvious piece of the driver that's different to the irons. But what they haven't done is they haven't adjusted their body angles. And the biggest body angle that I want to kind of have you pay attention to in this video particularly is your hip, your trail hip. And your trail hip needs to be dropped. So right here, even though my ball position is forward, my trail hip is pretty much level and so are my shoulders. So you want to make sure, and then when you watch the pros, they do this. They drop their trail hip just a touch, and it's literally this much. But I do want you to feel next time you hit your driver that your trail hip is a touch lower than your lead hip. And this is really going to help you actually come under the ball and get under it and launch it up high. So when you're at home, make sure that you look into the mirror. And here's our hallway with the mirrors, which are kind of risque, but we know this. And when you set up to the mirror, I really want you to look into the mirror and I want you to see whether that right hip is just a touch lower. And again, we're talking about, an inch and a half. And you can exaggerate this a little bit. And with that does not come a forward press. We're not going to do this, right? There's no hand forward press. This is just a body motion. And I want you to drop this and your right knee can almost flex a little bit more because see how if I do it the other way, if I straighten this knee, it's really difficult. So really feel like that right knee is just flexed a little bit more forward than your left knee in this case because I'm a righty. So that will also drop your right shoulder down. It'll automatically see this drop a little bit of both down. And now we have really helped ourselves to be able to get to hit the ball when we're swinging up because that's the biggest difference with the driver that we want to do. And I know a lot of you guys are always going to be like, oh, but Tiger hits down on the ball and some of the tour pros hit down on the ball with the driver. That is true, guys. You are correct. However, they have insane swing speed. If you have Tiger's swing speed, be my guest, hit down on the driver. But also another thing that Tiger does that you probably do not do is tee the ball up this high with the driver. He loves it because it makes him cover the ball a little bit more and it keeps it in play. And you guys think that the pros, launch every single drive down the fairway, but really, and there's a video that I watched about actually Tiger and Grant Horward doing a driver clinic. And he particularly says, I don't want to hit it that far. I just want to hit it straight. So we can definitely take a couple of notes out of Tiger's book on this one, or on any book really. But that is why he hits down on the driver specifically. There's a couple of other people that hit down on it, but as a regular amateur guys that wants to maximize your distance, that struggles with height, that struggles with launch, this is going to fix your driving. It's also really going to help you when you have this kind of uppy and downy across, sliced feeling, because a sliced feeling never has a shallow angle of attack. It'll never come, you actually never hit up on the driver. If you're a slicer, you are hitting down on your driver. And while you're doing this, when you're dropping this, your club has a much easier time to come and drop in the slot, and you actually won't be lifting it out so much because you will feel a little awkward. It'll feel a little bit weird and it'll feel like your club really gets far away from you. So if you're slicing it, this really helps. And again, so why I think this isn't commonly talked about or isn't really taught much on the internet or even in person is because people assume that it happens when they take their ball position further forward. But it doesn't, because you can take your ball position further forward and still do this. And that's exactly kind of what happened with my students, that they still kind of push their hands forward, and you see how that de-lofts the club. Anytime you're de-lofting the club, you're not having an upward angle of attack on your driver. So on the driver, if you do nothing else, next time you get to set up to it on the range on the first tee, drop your right hip down, your trail hip down, whatever your trail hip is, and really feel like those hands do not push forward. We don't want to have a de-lofted driver face. And then now you have your shoulder dropped a little bit, you have your hip dropped a little bit, you have your right knee bent a little bit, and now you can really kind of feel that club drop into the slot. Another little bonus tip if you're struggling with a slice on a driver is to go and find yourself a lie where the ball is above your feet. So where your ball is a little bit higher like this almost, so you're on a slope, and then take a couple of swings and really brush the grass with that driver or put a tee in there. If you can hit a couple of balls, if there is a part of the range where you can hit, you know, into the range, down the range, even on that lie, that would be great. What that does is it's going to put you on a much shallower plane, and it's really going to fix that non-rotation out to in over the top slice move. So these are my top driver tips that the pros do this, every single one of them. If you look next time at the tournament, look at the RBC Heritage, everything that's going on right now, any good player you'll see, their right hip will not be higher than their left hip at setup. Trail hip will not be higher than the front hip at setup, never. On the irons again, it's a little different. We'll talk about this in a different video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. And the driver has always been my favorite club in the bag, so I want to make sure I give you all the tips that I had, and this one is a really big one. If this is your first time on my channel, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like and even subscribe potentially. Leave me a comment below of what you want to see next or any questions you have. I'm always here to answer them. Also, maybe even activate that little notification button, because then you're going to be notified whenever I drop a new tip, and you can take it straight to the range and to the course.